The following presentation is part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network.
What's up, Bombad fam? Welcome to another episode of the Bombadcast. We are a proud part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network. There's a show for everyone on this network if you are a Star Wars fan. If
even
not,
me?
You know what? Yes, Scotty, even you.
Cool.
Even you, disembodied voice floating from the beyond. If you like Bombadcast, you'll probably like Around the Galaxy with Pete Fletzer, Postcards from Galaxy's Edge with Shannon Morin, Holo Chronicles with Andy and Josh, Beyond the Blast Doors Live, the only live weekly Star Wars show with David Amelotti, the ever handsome, and he's just always showing off the guns. And then streaming Star Wars with Ammo and Fletzer on Fridays. Then, you got us in our little corner here. If you like us, you'll probably love them a lot more. But you can find all of that at beyondtheblastdoors.com. And if you like what we're doing at the Beyond the Blast Doors Network, support us on Patreon. Think about it. Give us a little pocket change, or, the equivalent of, 5 cups of coffee a month. Who knows? Just go check it out. See what you like. We've got many tiers, and you will not regret that decision.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? You may have noticed. See, we got the complaints. We've got the mail is in, the reviews on iTunes and YouTube. They've all come back to us, and we've talked it out. And yes, we are going to no video due to great outcries. It was as if people cried out, a million voices cried out in terror, seeing, mine and Scotty's faces. And then they were suddenly silenced today because now we are 100%. We're all audio. You can't see us. And that's just, what? We're just going to keep it like this from now on. Right, Scott? That's just, you guys complain too much about seeing our ugly mugs.
No. This is just this episode. So.
What? Wait, just this episode?
Yeah. So.
Where's all that? Why do I keep getting this mail forwarded to me then?
Well, I was going to tell you, dude, since you shaved your head and you did all that really big transitioning with you shaved your beard, and I know you're trying to become.
I grew it back.
No, you didn't. Stop lying to them.
I grew the beard back.
Stop lying to them.
You've seen me.
So
watch last week's episode.
No, you shaved it after that, man. Please stop lying to them. Hype up how they're gonna see the new form of Jerry whenever we go back. Just do that.
Whenever we go back.
Yes, we are going back. Yes,
we're going back. No. This is the new normal right here.
No, it's not. This is what we're doing. So we have a very special guest today. And
yes, we do.
Jerry, our special guest, actually, this is a funny story right here. We did this last year, the same exact kind of concept. We are doing an episode from the Jarreau Beach Strip. You've heard it correct here. And we've got the one and only, the one who inspired this discussion. That's what I'm talking about. The shiny man himself, Elder Puck 27, a.k.a. Troy Jarreau. What is going up, Bombad fam?
Yo, what is up, fam? How we doing today, Jerry? How are you doing, buddy?
Man, I am doing as good as I possibly can. I'm Scotty didn't like my bit, so he made his own.
Man.
Which, hey, prima donna, that's okay. It happens.
It happens when that happens. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. But I'm glad to have Troy back on and reenacting. You know, we're redoing so much in history these days. Why not have Troy back on?
Yes.
And stuff, you know? Like, I love it. I love it. Let's have Troy back on. So
Yes.
Troy is a member. He is one of the rotating cast of the Bombad. I was gonna say the Bombad fam. You were like part of the Bombad cast. I've said it before. You and Eric, you're
Really?
both just you are just fixtures in the Bombad cast canon. And so
I just counted up.
I'm glad you're here.
It's Troy's 4th episode, and I believe Eric just did his 4th episode too. So it's
my
neck
fourth,
and neck.
Wow.
my 4th appearance on the show.
That's incredible.
You
I
guys
love
better
that.
treat us nice so we can see who makes it on next, right? And
Yeah,
so, you know,
Yeah.
We'll
gotta
have
get
a, we'll have a show off, showdown.
yeah.
see who goes
5
on.
timers.
That exactly. And this episode's discussion actually, which is great enough, it was all inspired by Troy because I've
Because we
grown
love
up-
Troy.
Yes, and we've
What's
grown
not
up
to
together.
love about Troy?
Look at him. Oh, you can't look at him, but think about looking at him. And,
Think about him.
Think about
Just
him.
think about him.
Just think
Listen
about
to
him.
the sultry, smooth sounds of his voice.
Exactly, and
And just imagine him in the room with you. I'll stop because I'm going to get uncomfortable in a second.
yeah, Jerry might have to take off your pants.
I might have to go. I'm gonna have to hop in the shower real quick.
We still haven't done that yet. There was an episode we planned on doing from the shower, but that's gonna be when we work out. Do you remember that? Remember that thing I came up with?
That was like
Yeah.
quarantine, like a quarantine idea and stuff. And
Wow.
Hey,
Okay.
Yeah.
you may get your chance still. We'll
No.
see. We'll see.
Now, Troy, for anyone that doesn't know, okay, and I know you've been here enough. Hopefully, our fans remember. But what is something that you do? What is one of your biggest hobbies? Troy's got a man of many hobbies, but
A man of many hobbies. I play a lot of video games, but mainly focus on Pokemon content. Mainly the newer games, shiny hunting and doing some competitive battling and just overall enjoying the game and playing it for what it is.
so Troy, this man right here, is a Pokemon pro compared to both Jerry and I. And there was an idea that was discussed a while back that Troy wanted to talk about, or we actually all wanted to talk about, 2 really big things in the late 90s, right? And Jerry, what were those 2 things? What was like 2 of the biggest things for us? Because it's an interesting thing to even bring up. I was a small child in the late 90s. I was like 5. Troy was a preteen. He was like 9 or 10, right, Troy? Mm-hmm. And then Jerry, you happened to be a teen in the late 90s. So we have 3 very different perspectives of what occurred then and what was popular to us then as well.
Is 12 years old a teen?
I guess it makes more sense. You were more teen than Troy was teen. So I don't
Right.
know.
I'm sorry. I was just joking. I'm like, come on, man. I'm not that old. I wasn't like, smoking behind the gym and like driving a
bowling
car
alley.
in '93. Hey,
Boys room.
hey, girl. Hey, you want to go watch
Hey, other
Jurassic Park?
preteen.
We'll go watch Jurassic Park with me. Like, dude, you're 6. Like,
You
come
bring
on.
it up. You brought it up already. But it's an important thing because Jurassic Park came out before I was born. Troy, you were little when Jurassic Park came out. But Jerry, you were probably like, what, just at the right age to see it in theaters, weren't you?
I was 6.
Did you see it or no?
Yes, and my
No
parents,
way.
this is living proof. I'm living proof that no one paid attention to the rating system in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
My mother, I have a funny story about it. We were visiting, I remember this vividly. We were visiting my family in Texas. Okay, I have cousins, and and aunt and uncle, surprisingly, that live in Texas because they were younger than me. And we're like, I don't know what we were doing. We were doing something. Maybe we were doing paper mache or whatever. And there was an ad for Jurassic Park at the local theater. And I was like, Mom, I want to see this. It's dinosaurs. 'Cause I was big into dinosaurs, right? Okay.
Yeah.
We went to New Mexico to visit some other family I have. And they took me to the Natural History Museum in, not Phoenix. Trying to think of that's not Arizona. Wait. I don't know where I am. Albuquerque. I was trying to think.
Okay.
There is a Weird Al song about it. But yeah, dude. So okay, I was a big dinosaur dude, and my mom and them were like, okay, yeah, well, we'll take the kids to see it. And mind you, I was like 6 when this movie came out. My older cousin was a year younger than me, and his sister was like a year or 2 younger than both of us. So yeah, they took us to watch Jurassic Park in 1993. And my cousins were a little startled, needless to say. My mother had to make me turn around when Gennaro, the lawyer, got eaten off the toilet. She forcibly made me, she's like, turn around. And I'm like, but this is so cool. Like, I want to, you know. And like, I finally, like years later, I was watching the VHS staying at my grandma's house. And I was like, I think I'm old enough to watch this now, this part. Mom usually makes me hide my eyes, but I want to watch this part now. She's like, okay. Because grandparents are the best, right?
Yeah,
like grandparents are just like, whatever, they don't know, you know. But again, ratings, people still don't know what the ratings are and stuff. So again, like they don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. But Jurassic Park rocked everyone's faces off. It's actually playing at a drive-in about 40 minutes north of me right now.
Dude,
I'm really tempted, but they're also playing Empire. I think I'm gonna go check that out. It's a double feature, Empire and
Jurassic Park.
No, that would be awesome. I wish you could mix and match because they're playing E.T. and Jurassic Park and Empire Strikes Back at a drive-in. That I did not know existed until this all came until this came out, man. I didn't until the pandemic happened. I didn't know there was a drive-in, but now I do, and I'm so psyched.
Great.
Wow.
But anyway,
That's awesome.
It's that and Black Panther back to back, and so
cool.
that's still good movies. So I'm thinking about going. That has nothing to do with anything. So the 90s.
Well, no, it's important because and I have a very small secondhand memory of just like the late 90s. It's not really that huge, but there's things that happen in the 90s that are very interesting, and I don't know why. It was like the America's youth was like really booming, and there was 2 really big, or I guess like 3 really big things, and I don't know if it was like this in any other time period, but the 90s was a lot about dinosaurs, and every concurring generation has had like a weird dinosaur hit movie or a weird dinosaur, like, I guess, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's been a part of pop culture since the 90s, right? And then for some reason
we loved them until they have feathers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
and then,
I'm just kidding.
No, and then for some reason the world was captured by this idea of, the video game craze, portable gaming, and there were huge games that came out then, and the whole basis of this episode is going to deal with Pokemon and Star Wars and dinosaurs, and they all are kind of combined. And of course, the Phantom Menace being one of the biggest things in the 90s, in terms of childhood and pop culture. And that's pretty much what the whole discussion is going to be circling around. And Jerry, you bring up something really important, because I didn't realize this until watching The Phantom Menace with Eric recently. He brought up the fact that Jar Jar looks dinosaur-like. And I don't know if that, was George having his, thumb on the pop culture then, but I literally don't, I cannot watch that movie the same now after Eric acknowledged it.
Right.
Because that was such a big thing for every kid growing up in that era. And
he looks like the duck-billed dinosaur, right?
Yeah,
and he even has like the ears,
and the
ears are different. Yeah. But
yeah, but the crazy thing is the fact that like the pop culture of that time was just kind of captured in that character, and then everything dealing with the 90s is just such an interesting time. And I don't know, I feel like it's very hard to not think about it and not think about Pokemon as well and its importance and, that culture, I'm sure we all have a very, very familiar story with how we were introduced to Pokemon. Since we've got the very special guest right here, Troy, what was your first earliest memory? Was there ever one that burnt into your head?
Yeah. So my experience with Pokemon first got started with the cards, actually. I didn't get started with the video games, but the cards came out before the games.
Yeah.
And I just remember being at school, elementary school, and that was the biggest thing. When it came out, everybody was like, oh, there's this new trading card game called Pokemon, and it's for pocket monsters, and they have all these little creatures, and you can collect the cards for them. And back then, we were 6 or 7 years old, and we didn't know how to play the game. We just wanted the cards. And that was one of the biggest things was, who could find one of the coolest cards or the rarest cards, and then everybody was trading at school.
So awesome.
And so it evolved from that into the games later on. And I remember for Christmas, my parents had gotten me, they had got me the Game Boy Color, the Pikachu edition one. It was the yellow one that had like Pikachu on like the front plate.
Oh,
and,
nice.
With Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah.
And that was my first ever experience with a Pokemon video game. And I can't say how many hours I did actually put into that cartridge. I no longer have that cartridge, but I would guarantee you it was a lot of just walking around and playing the game.
Exploring.
But that was definitely my first experience with it. Probably... I don't know, what was it? It was probably the next Christmas or the next birthday. It was whenever I got Pokemon Red.
Oh, nice.
And that one, I mean, it evolved from that point on. Every year you were getting a new game or you were getting new cards. I vaguely remember our grandfather, me and your grandfather, his stepbrother used to run a card shop.
Yes, Uncle Cecil.
Other Uncle Cecil, yeah. And I remember vividly it would be like, okay, if I make good grades in school, or if I did really good in sports, and just tried my hardest and put effort to it, my parents were gonna go that weekend to buy me a pack of Pokemon cards.
So awesome.
And
nice.
that always just was a drive for being like, all right, let's go do this, because I know the end goal is going to be Pokemon cards, and it's going to be like, okay, we're going to get a rare card, and we're going to be able to show it off at school. Am I going to be the cool kid with the shiny Gengar or the shiny Charizard, Actually, I'm pretty sure at one point in my life I have owned a shiny holographic first edition Charizard. I'm pretty positive I had one as a kid. Now, where it went from there, because as a young entrepreneur...
Dude, this is for real. This is one of my favorite stories.
Yeah. I actually sold Pokemon cards from my house, straight up. Had a sign in the window that said Pokemon cards for sale, and I would sell them at school. I would sell them everywhere. If I had holographic, I was
wow,
$20 here, $40 here, and people, kids would pay me for them.
Oh, dude,
lucrative, man.
Little
lucrative.
cards and stuff. So there's a handful of cards actually I still do have. I have a bunch, not anything rare, but there is a good bit of a handful of cards that I do still have.
It's funny because I'll never forget this. This adds to the story of Troy was done with the cards and selling them. I went over with my dad because Troy's dad and my dad are brothers, right? And so I would be over there maybe once every 2 weeks. And I went over there when he was selling his cards, and he sold me a Japanese Wobbuffet card. And I don't know how you got a Japanese card, number one. That blows my mind. I was little, and I still remember that. And he sold it to my dad for $12. And my dad's like, I'm paying $12 for a piece of paper. My dad would not let it down. And it's funny because Troy and I are 5 years apart. So Troy was probably 10 and I was 5, or maybe he was 11 and I was 6. But there were I have so many memories of playing Pokemon Stadium with Troy and stuff. So a lot of my early childhood was truly Pokemon and Star Wars, and Legos, whatever else was in the now,
right?
Or was in the now then. And it's funny because there's one vivid memory. Papa Cecil, our grandfather, dressed up as Pikachu for one of my birthday parties. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
And there is a video I have. It's on one of my hard drives. It'll be difficult to find. But he dressed up as Pikachu, and at that same party, I got a Phantom Menace toy. So, just kind of think about how all of that
epic.
It's so weirdly full circle,
Dude,
and
Pikachu was at Celebration 2019.
Yes.
I ran into him.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just funny to think
it was just Pikachu too. It wasn't anything. It was just Pikachu.
Nothing special.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because, it's really cool that nerd culture now has become, or even that culture of then has become such an acceptable and normal thing, And two things have not died still, and that's Star Wars and Pokemon and Nintendo, of course. You can kind of name a lot of gaming companies that have kind of lasted, but
I mean, Pokemon is like Nintendo's number
flagship,
one.
yeah.
Like from merchandise, from anything, Pokemon is the most profitable thing.
Yeah.
From Nintendo that they've ever put out. It's pretty crazy when you actually get to thinking about it. And yeah, I mean, Star Wars and Pokemon, they've both been huge factors in my life. I mean, I remember as a kid, you know, even in the 90s, I mean, like most of the birthday parties I went to as a kid were either or related. You know, it was either Star Wars or Pokemon.
Power Rangers, all that.
Dude, Power Rangers were legit.
Yeah,
like they
Power
outlawed they outlawed karate on playgrounds because of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I remember those days when like parents were afraid that kids were going to hurt each other because of Power Rangers. Where like they blow up and they like fall, you know, like
Yes,
insane.
That was still some of the best,
the best
90s animation stuff ever. Where it's like the explosion happens and then those, you know, minions they twirl backwards and fall on the mat. And
have you ever like I had the veil lifted for me, man. Where like you see like that it's like they took all of this. None of the fighting sequences and the robot sequences were filmed by them. They bought like an old Japanese TV show, and just filmed the high school scenes with the actors.
That's amazing. I never knew that.
Yeah, that at least most of the first season is that, and I think later on they started going like, okay, we'll put them in the suit and stuff, you know. And then they did a movie, right?
Yeah.
But I was, man, I loved that freaking movie.
It's important because I just realized something else that came out, I believe, in the year 2000. So it's not exactly then, but Godzilla 2000. You know, these weird. It's a weird thing to remember that like
Godzilla 2000 from Japan, but Godzilla with Matthew Broderick came out in 1998.
98. Okay, so that also plays into this.
Yeah,
I didn't see it then, of course, but I remember the poster and like there's so many things. There's so many things that can be mentioned, and like it's really weird that. You're gonna love this. This is so Alex Jones. It was very reptilian, you know. Like everything was very
the reptilians, sir. They're taking over popular culture,
dude. And it's true though, because like Troy and I talked about it earlier, and all the first gen Pokemon, the first 3 starters at least, are all lizards, like or a part of a reptilian. Like Bulbasaur is obviously some sort of like. I mean, you could tell me.
I mean, actually, Bulbasaur is like. The definition of like when you think of Pokemon, because it doesn't resemble anything.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
When you
You're
actually
right.
think of in terms of Pokemon, like a lot of them you can actually resemble towards something, but you know, Bulbasaur is literally just a beast that has plants. Growing on it. You know, whereas like Squirtle is your turtle and Charizard's like a lizard or a Charmander, and so there's actually like a big thing about Bulbasaur where. You know, if you actually look in terms of Pokemon, and there's only a few of them out there that, you know, don't distinctly resemble real creatures in the real world. So
it's just, I don't know, it's so interesting because there's a lot of really weird connections you can make. And like, I know the guy who made Pokemon was like a guy who was fascinated with like catching animals and, you know, catching bugs and stuff. And like, that's the whole concept of pocket monsters, you know, you can keep them in your pocket and you can trade them with people. But it was weird because it was the technology being pushed back then too. That just dawned on me. Like the Phantom Menace, Jurassic Park, everything we're kind of naming was like technology at its most. Like
it was. Think about the Phantom Menace, okay? And just think about you said the Gungans that look like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
The other creatures that are in that movie resemble dinosaurs.
Yeah, dude. Sebulba's kind of dinosaur looking too.
What the Gungans ride on, the Kadoos, and just like the creatures that were in the water. You know, there's always a bigger fish. You know,
dude.
Dinosaur style fish. I mean, like those are in. I mean, the first 2 movies, and while we're on the subject of movies as well, I know that's kind of 2000 as well, but the first Pokemon movie came out in 2000.
Exactly.
Pokemon 2000. Right around that time. It all just blends together, man.
It does. It's weird, and like a lot of my memories, like the toys vividly, they used to have these old Pokemon toys that were just like completely stationary. They were tiny. They were like maybe the size of your palm as a little kid, and like they were literally just like you could just bend their arms and the arms would bend back. Like there was like they wouldn't be stay flexed or anything. So there's these. I just remember like having these things and being around so much of this stuff, and like how bizarre it is now, like that it's still really relevant. Like everything we're talking about is still so relevant.
Still relevant.
And like if the Phantom Menace wasn't good, I mean, to some people it wasn't for some reason, but if the Phantom Menace wasn't a success, then I don't think Star Wars would have lasted. You know, same with Pokemon. Pokemon had to. It's funny. It's kind of like a building thing. Like with the next games, they got a little bit better. Then the following games, they got a lot better. And it just like, I don't know. It's funny to see what stays and what doesn't stay. But for some reason, we're still in the time where Pokemon is like super important. You know?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you remember 2016? Jeez. Jerry, what were you doing when Pokemon Go came out? What was that like in Michigan?
I was actually still doing youth ministry part-time and stuff, like at the church we were at the time. And I had heard like, oh man, churches are gyms. Like we could use that to be like a cool, like, hey man, come hang out, you know, because that's what I was at the time. And our church was nothing. It was literally nothing.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I love that.
That was like, oh, okay, potato chip crumb on the map. I get it. Okay, whatever. You know, I was into it for a little bit. You know, like the thing is, I just didn't want to walk to the places that were near my house because I had been standing all day at work. You know. Yeah. And so it's just one of those things, man.
The day it launched, Jerry, I was actually working at the mall, and like. It was insane because the first day it launched, it was like hectic. Like no one could download it. It was like
there was a lot of problems. Initially,
but the following week, I mean, like people were walking around the mall. I was selling sunglasses then, and like glued to their phones. Like everyone was playing it, and like I saw old classmates I hadn't seen in years, former teachers and stuff, and for a while there in Louisiana, I honestly I really do believe, I think. 70% of the population played it. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, it was literally, at the time, the most downloaded app ever.
Yeah.
Dude, I would play it in the grocery store, like, waiting to check out. And Allison would be like, come on. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean,
sorry, I've got a Squirtle right here.
I played it hardcore for so long.
Troy still plays it pretty hardcore.
And I actually do still play it. And there was a time when I did stop playing it. And I stopped playing it for... probably about a year.
Yeah.
I did not play it at all. And then I kind of just jumped back into it, and I've been doing... I don't really do too much in it, like all the raids and the battles and stuff like that, just because I'm more of a solo player.
Sure.
I mean, you guys know from my Twitch stuff, and I'm a shiny hunter at heart when it comes down to it, so I'm not a big fan of like going and meeting up with 30 people to go take down this one creature at 3:45 on Sunday, and it's like
at the mall.
And I'm in the Facebook groups actually that are around my hometown for that, and but I don't know if I see one and I'm like in the area, then I'll be like, oh, you know what, maybe I can go do this, but I'm not going to go out of my way for it. But I do still like playing it, and right now, I mean, I can't even express. Like Pokemon Go right now during the whole pandemic.
Jay, I don't know if you know this yet, but Troy will fill you in.
It has literally been amazing. Like Niantic has taken their full control of this thing. And
so awesome.
They've basically made it to where incenses at your, they last an hour now instead of 30 minutes, and then. You get a spawn every minute now instead of every 5 minutes.
At your home, too.
Yeah, at your home.
You don't have to leave.
Right, yeah, you don't have to
I
leave.
did hear that they were like spawning in people's houses and stuff.
That's
so
cool. And then the most recent update they did was you get one spawn a day automatically at your, like as soon as you open up the game, you can get a spawn. And also in the shop, they give you a free box.
So awesome.
And it's like, 1 or 2 Pokeballs or some items or something like that. But they've been really taking advantage of this and doing some pretty cool stuff for all the community days, just everything. And then we got Go Fest, which usually Go Fest is at a certain place, and they do one in like every country. And basically this year it's going to be, I think, July 25th and 26th. And you could buy a virtual ticket, and you could do it at your house.
Isn't that cool? It like literally, you would have to be like you'd be in New York. Like it was like very specific.
Yeah, it was. It was like
Chicago, New York, like big cities.
They did Yeah, they did like 3 or 4 big cities throughout the U.S. They did like 2 places or 3 places in Canada, and then just through various places throughout the world.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy. Now you can do it from home.
Yeah.
But it brings up a good point, because at one point, you know, Pokemon, in terms of if you didn't follow it, you know, let's say I happen to follow it, Troy happened to follow it. I don't know if Jerry did. Jerry, actually, fill us in. When did you fall in love with it? Because I'll make my point later. When was it? When do you remember being involved or around the whole, like, you probably remember the pop culture, like, shock that it was in the late 90s, probably better than both Troy and I can. What was it like? Do you remember anything particular?
No, well, you know, I had Pokemon. It when it exploded, right? You know, and even if even if you were just kind of tertiarily like interested, which was kind of me, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that Pokemon has been like necessarily a Star Wars like level to me, but it has definitely been one of the like cornerstones of my pop culture life, right? You know, like it definitely had a place in my childhood and growing up and stuff. I mean, I would watch Pokemon, the cartoon, the early days, you know, Ash and I forget the guy, the rock guy. Brock and then Misty, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Misty.
Man. She was a 90s character, wasn't she? There's always those characters on the cartoons
besides Pokemon, and there's also like Dragon Ball Z, but like early
dude, I was in Dragon Ball Z
anime.
for a little bit too. Everyone in my that's the other one.
That was the first like Toonami and anyone like I believe it was Fox, whoever owned the rights to distributing Pokemon in America, like, I mean, they knew what they were doing. You know what I mean? Like, that was such a clever thing,
real.
because it's weird to think that Pokemon not only took over video games, they managed to take over, like, trading cards, which was a huge thing in the late 90s, and then they took over animation and, like, TV and, like,
it was everywhere.
From all aspects.
Yeah, you were getting attacked from in all directions, and, like, I mean, you could say the same about Phantom Menace. Like, you had the Phantom Menace marketing, you had the video games, you had the movie, like Pod Racer. Yeah, I mean, like,
man.
Dude, it's insane to think like that. It was all targeted to kids our age, and look who's controlling the markets now in terms of who's doing what and who's playing what. I mean, there's people that have worked in industries that make billions of dollars, you know, and there's people that literally Twitch stream shiny reactions. Like Troy got really big recently. He a very known reaction of his when he caught a shiny Pokemon in Shield or Sword and I don't know what.
Yeah, Shield.
Yeah, Shield. And I mean, how many views does it have now?
Oh, last I checked, it was over 200,000. But it's
crazy. It's crazy.
That's only because I got on to some. There's a really big YouTuber and Twitch streamer that's like known in the Pokemon world, and he does like a shiny reaction. He'll pick clips from like, you have to send him clips, and he'll pick out of his things like the top 5 clips, and he'll do it once a week. And he picked mine for one of them.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
That view got like over 200,000 views on his YouTube channel, and then the one I posted on my YouTube channel got over 4K views, which is now my most watched video.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Just
It
all the content that's out there, man. It's awesome.
and people make a lot of money doing what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's a Twitch affiliate and everything, so he gets cheddar from it.
You got to think too, man. Like just those two marketing perspectives from Pokemon and Star Wars. Like I can think about it right now. Like somebody made a shirt that I own, and it's Darth Maul, but up on a Pikachu. Like Pikachu, it's a Darth Maul Pikachu.
Yeah.
And I have that shirt, and I actually think I did bring it with me on the vacation.
We'll get a
trip,
picture of it later.
Yeah, we might get a picture of it later. But yeah, that's like one of my favorite shirts because it like symbolizes two of my favorite things. You know,
Sure.
It's like Darth Maul and Pikachu.
Yeah.
It's so great. So
Yeah.
cool. I also have another one where it's Pikachu as Darth Vader.
Yes, I remember that one.
Yeah, and the Death Stars behind Pikachu and all that. Yeah, so that one's pretty cool.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
awesome.
like, it's so weird to think though, like, these people that are growing up are controlling the next, you know, what's the next big thing. And, you know, this brings up a good point. The Force Awakens is really what brought back Star Wars for us in the year 2015. But 2016, Pokemon came back just as big as Star Wars almost did, honestly. With literally everyone owning Pokemon Go. Just like everyone went and saw the Force Awakens. So it's weird to think these things that we grew up with are now going to be these huge staples of consumerism, of pop culture, of what is important, what is the next thing people are looking forward to in terms of releases and stuff. It's just, I think it's pretty awesome, man. What do you think of all that, Jerry?
I mean, they're both phenomenons, right? And it was just, again, going back to the mid 90s, whenever it came out, again, like I was just kind of interested in it, and it was fun. It was, there was a lot to do in it, and again, I lost count after they, got more than 150 Pokemon. And that's when I was like, oh man, there's more. What? I loved, I don't know. I never got into the cards, but there were dudes in my class, like at recess, they had binders that looked like they were carrying like a 90-year-old's tax returns. And they were just absolutely filled with those cards, and they were really cool to look at and stuff, right? It was, and again, it was everywhere. It was on clothes, it was toys, it was, and I remember being psyched because Pokemon Yellow, you had Red and Blue, and I think Yellow was the next one to come out, and Pokemon Yellow, Pikachu would follow you, like in the show.
Dude.
And that
It's
was
huge.
what I always was trying to catch in Pokemon Red, which is the only one I had. I kept trying to catch a Pikachu, because that's all I wanted, because that's like what's on the show, And like,
it was funny how I played it backwards and ended up playing the games backwards.
Yeah.
Because I got Yellow first. So I experienced that, and then I actually played Red
but
after that.
Oh, man. It's, I remember like just sitting in the car, my mom going into like, I don't know, like redo her license or whatever, and just like playing on my Game Boy Color, like just playing those games, man.
I love memories like that because, it's a weird thing. We're the first gen of kids to grow up with portable gaming, like truly, and
right.
I had a Game Boy as well, and there was times where this is so classic, like literally, I probably still do this with Troy, but there was times when I was growing up and I was on playing Pokemon Red or whatever, Yellow, and so when I was playing it as a kid, I couldn't get past certain stuff, right? And Troy and our family had Sunday dinners every Sunday. We'd all get together and eat dinner. And I'll never forget coming up to him one time. I was like at like the third or like the second gym leader. And I was like 6. And I was like, dude, can you please like beat this for me? And I'll never forget that next week. This is so classic, Troy. That next week he comes back and he's literally beaten all eight gyms. He's gotten to the final 4. He beat them, and like I have like level 70 Pokemon. I'm like, what? Dude. I literally went from having level like 15 and 20 Pokemon to like Troy like 1 week like maxing out my game, and I'm like, how? Like I'm a little kid,
right?
It's just funny to think about those things because I don't know. It's the world's a much bigger place when you're a kid, right? And you grow up and you think, things will change as you grow up. But, like, it's really weird. In terms of what's popular and what's still relevant, not much has changed, Like, really to its core. Like, it's kind of impressive. I don't know.
Well, and again, we've got all the kids who grew up in those times, like, running stuff now, especially the popular culture.
Sure.
So
right.
They're like, oh man, and nostalgia is huge right now, right?
Oh my god,
it is.
Like
they must have remade that first Pokemon movie 3 times.
Yeah, they have the new one on Netflix.
I've watched it.
It's basically the remake of Pokemon 2000, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
It's really good. But yeah, I agree with you, Jerry. I mean, like, it just sticks with you. I mean, like some of the stuff that you grow up with, I mean, you never lose it. I mean, some people, of course, eventually, they'll fall out of different things in and out.
But they don't forget it.
They don't forget it.
Yeah.
And they definitely don't forget the memories they had with it. And so, like, yeah, you may talk to, somebody who was way into Pokemon, way back in the day, but it's like, they're a little bit older now, and it's like, hey, they kind of just stayed away from it or strayed off of the path from it, and they may look at it now and they're like, wow, this has really changed. But it's like, they'll go back and tell stories, but man, I'll never forget, beating the Elite Four for the first time. And, I had to battle him 600 times before I finally beat him. And that nostalgia moments, those are what I live for. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And since they've been remaking them, it's been really nice to see, how they do things differently every year or whatever they end up.
Right. I mean, there's so much stuff that they come out with on both sides of it, Star Wars and Pokemon.
Literally, after this, Jerry, we're about to go play Pod Racer.
Yeah, we're gonna go play Pod Racer.
Dude,
after.
sweet.
And
on the Switch.
He hasn't played it yet, and I was like, dude, the controls are phenomenal. I'm like, they've just taken what was good and improved on it, just like they're doing now for Pokemon. It's so surreal.
It is. It's really awesome. Yeah. Another 1999 fact is that's whenever I got my favorite gen of Pokemon, Gen 2.
Yeah.
And Gold and Silver came out in November of 1999.
Oh wow!
Jerry, that's when they added more. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
second
that. I remember
generation.
that, and I was like, "Oh, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa!"
And that was still to this day the only game. Obviously, they remade Heart Gold, or they remade Gold and Silver, which is now Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But still to this day, that is the only generation where you can go to more than one region.
Yeah.
And you
Capture
go to
all.
your Johto and Kanto regions, and get 16 badges and do
It's crazy.
It's so crazy to think about that. And those had my favorite Pokemon. My favorite legendary Pokemon is Lugia, and he's in Gen 2 in Silver.
You bring up a good point. I want to talk about this actually. There's a lot of weird things you connect between Pokemon and Star Wars, or almost any franchises, but in particular those two. And the fact that you get these mythical creatures in Pokemon, and it really kind of makes you think about Star Wars, like we talked last week about the Force, Jerry.
Yeah.
How things like it's very interesting to see the comparisons. And I don't know, I thought of some in my head earlier, and one of the biggest comparisons was the fact that the nomenclature for Star Wars and the nomenclature for Pokemon are so close. You know what I mean? Good example, Charmander. When you char something, you're burning it, So like a char grilled burger, So they took Salamander and Char and they slapped them together. Boom.
Yep.
And I mean the same could be said for Star Wars with Jerry, who's the guy that's trying to sell death sticks? What's his name?
Elon Sleazebagano.
Sleazebagano.
You're gonna compare Charizard to Elon Sleazebagano.
Dude, that should be the thumbnail for this episode. Yeah. Just be a photo of it.
Just Elon handing Charmander a death stick, and Charmander's got a flamethrower.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
See, it's important though because of the nomenclature. Think about that character's a total sleazebag, and Pablo or George, whoever named him, was Elon Sleazebagano. It's funny because if someone the action figure that came out, it's literally he's a sleazebag. He's a nasty vile dude.
It's a dude with antenna.
Yes.
Also,
yes.
I love that. That's just I'm an alien. I've always loved that.
It's just funny because in terms of naming, they're very similar. I'm trying to do another example.
Well, real quick, if I can, did you know that dude has an entire life story in the EU?
No way.
Yeah, dude. He goes home and
It's
literally
amazing.
changes his life, and gets out of selling drugs and starts a charity or something. I'm being for real too. That's
all because Kenobi.
Yeah, because
tells him
Kenobi
to
does
go home and rethink his life.
Yes, I'm telling you. And then I'm so
That is hilarious.
That's funny because people are you're opening up all these plot holes, with the new canon. When it's you look at the old EU and it's okay, I mean it's kind of a pick or choose buffet, right? Okay, because why? Okay. Why are the Jedi, generals when they should be for peace? Yeah, but why aren't the Jedi opening up drug rehab clinics or counseling services, man?
Peace, right?
I mean, why aren't you using that to I don't know, stop crime or something? Like, if you can just wave your hand and make criminals stop
someone's entire life,
selling drugs and being dumb and
God.
Please do something to help the galaxy besides fighting big wars and cut people's arms off, Obi-Wan. My gosh. Sorry.
It's funny because in terms of, you can almost tie it back to Pokemon. Whenever a Pokemon uses confusion, the other guy's like, well, I'm going to attack myself now. It's just like, it's funny. You know what I mean?
You just reminded me of that SpongeBob meme. I'm going to head out. I'm going to attack myself now.
I'm going to head out. Yeah. Dude, it's just funny because, there's so many things. Like, you've got psychic Pokemon, and they're a lot like Force users, they have these really crazy abilities, cause headaches. They can do all kinds of stuff.
What is weird
cool.
is for some reason I had a fascination with Psyduck when I was big into Pokemon.
That's so Jerry.
That is awesome.
I freaking
is hilarious Pokemon.
I freaking loved Psyduck because he was hilarious. It was dumb, but he could also I don't know. I felt bad for him, too, because headaches suck, man. This dude's got problems with migraines, chronic migraines.
That's the biggest thing is he's got the biggest headache, and if he gets too angry, he can literally explode. His head will explode.
Yeah.
Wait, did you ever see Detective Pikachu, Jerry?
Yes, I actually did. It was very nice, except for there was a lot of Pokemon on there that I was like, I guess that's a Pokemon. Neat. There was a big brick wall, night kind of a thing, and I was like, huh. I thought they were animals, but all right, cool. Yeah, let's go on. I recognize the one with the big tongue. Cool. Lick-a-tongue, right?
Dude,
Lick-a-tongue?
I want to get Jerry to talk.
Yes, we're going to do a Discord call or something like that and do a movie night and watch Detective Pikachu.
Well, there's the part in the movie where Psyduck has his moment and he wrecks
house. Oh, dude,
yes. Yeah, because he gets so stressed out.
I stand Psyduck still, man. I'm telling you, I had a little those little figures you're talking about, the little figurines that didn't move.
Sure.
They were just a little figurine, man. I had Psyduck, dude. I'm telling you, I had Psyduck.
So awesome.
Charizard and Charmander, and Pikachu were my jams. But Psyduck was just that punk rock pick. You know what I mean? It's all right. Hey man, he's a psychic Pokemon, so back off. He's a duck with a headache who might explode.
Yes. And you know what also, Jerry, is a good thing about Psyduck is in terms of Gen 1 Pokemon, he probably has one of probably in my top 10 list of shiny forms. He just has a really cool shiny.
Ooh,
now,
nice.
For Jerry, probably doesn't know what that is. Explain to Jerry what a shiny is, because that's something
Scotty,
I learned probably with
Scotty, don't out me.
I'm not, dude. But it's important because our listeners might not know.
I really don't.
And it's funny. Yeah. It's so sick though, Troy.
Shiny Pokemon are basically it's just a variant, a different color of that Pokemon. So normally Psyduck is yellow, like a yellow duck, but its shiny form it's all blue.
Ooh. I like blue.
So it's actually all blue, and they are very rare, in the games to find.
Because they're awesome.
You can't find them. You can't find them in Gen 1 games like Yellow, Red, or Blue. They were not released until Gen 2. But yeah, if you can manage to find one, the odds of finding them they change from game to game, but in the earlier games, the odds of finding them were 1 in 8,192.
Oh, wow.
And in the newer gen games, when it moved to the 3DS, all those odds got cut in half, so that it's 1 in 4,096 odds.
Yeah. See, Troy is all up on his numbers.
Yeah.
Troy, if anyone that hasn't had the opportunity to, and they want to see some great videos of someone just with pure joy. I mean, you see my reaction video. Troy is the same way for Pokemon. So literally, if you go to Troy's Twitch page and you can go through every clip, they're just and I'll be in the chats in some of them, and Troy will say out loud. But some of the clips are incredible because Troy is shiny hunting legendaries, Jerry, and it's on some of those games he does, it's 1 in 10,000.
Oh, wow.
And Troy has sat there and soft reset or respawned characters for
Yeah, some of it just, it's all about luck. It's all random, RNG, which is random number generator, and it's all luck. I mean, there's nothing. Some of the stuff there is methods that you can do in some games that'll, if you do it, this amount of times, like you're guaranteed this shiny to do this.
Right.
It's like a certain path, but for the most part, I mean, most of it is pretty random, and I'll spend days or weeks or sometimes even months looking for this one. And I'll eventually get it.
How Troy does it though is so baller. He does it because he has it on. Literally, he's got 2 DSs. He's got a Switch. What else do you use it on? Do you ever do
I do emulators sometimes, like on the computer as well.
So Troy will have like 4 shiny hunts going on at the same exact time, and like he's just like his hands are going. It's funny. He's literally
like making sure my counts, because I have also like it's an app that I use. It's like a counter on the computer, and it'll type in the hunt for me. I'll type in the hunt, and I'll increase the number for every hunt. It's like do. All right, this one. All right, increase the number. So
yeah, it's funny because like I just thought this comparison. Shiny hunters on Twitch or YouTube, whatever. It's a lot like Star Wars podcasting because it's like a very obscure community you never really knew existed. But when you discover it, man, it leads you down a wonderful rabbit hole. And for anyone that's never really, been a Twitch person, or anyone that's never really, gone and really maybe you're a Pokemon fan and you never really did any shiny hunts or tried doing it or watched someone do it. I'm not gonna lie, like there were times last year when Troy was streaming a lot where every night I'd be in that chat and I would probably be texting you, Jerry, and then, watching Troy on my TV. And it was so entertaining because, I don't know, Troy's a great commentator. He's a great orator. And, like, I don't know, he knows his stuff, man.
Yeah.
And nothing's better than whenever you get someone that knows their knowledge, on any subject. And it's just an important thing because it's a different subset of fandom that I don't think people are aware of until they listen to stuff like this or until they really kind of take that next step into, what they love and what they enjoy,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know the shiny hunting stuff existed until probably, 2016, maybe it was a little bit earlier than that. Whenever X and Y came out, that was the game that I first started shiny hunting.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know you could find them in the older generations.
Yeah.
And I had played the heck out of those.
Wait. They're in the old games? I thought this was all Pokemon Go.
No, dude, this is literally...
You can see I
in-game.
am, I'm very up to date. I'm very up to date with this.
Yeah, so
you can get a blue Psyduck, Jerry, on Pokemon Go.
They
That is
added them,
insanity.
in Gen 2. So 1999, whenever Gold and Silver came out, like that's when they added shiny variants.
Yeah.
And you can find them in that game, and they've been added in any title game since.
So awesome.
Wow, man.
Dude, it's crazy, and like the designs are so freaking cool. Because like, Jerry, you're gonna love this. How cool is Charizard already? He's red. He like breathes fire. He's a literal dragon.
Yeah,
Jerry,
he's got like a little
his shiny form.
A little puff of fire on his tail. Yeah, it's adorable
Yes.
and dangerous.
No, that's Charmander.
Oh,
Jerry.
Charizard. Well, Charizard's the big
Charizard's
the dragon.
the big
That's the
one.
dragon.
Yeah. That dude's color variant is literally it's black and red.
It's just black.
It's just black. How cool. He goes from being like a red dragon to a black dragon. Like if you
Wow.
find him in that dude, it's funny, like it takes your understanding of something you already thought that it was and just takes it to a different level. And
Interesting fact too is Charizard's actually, he may look like a dragon, but he is not considered a dragon.
what is he, a
type.
lizard?
He's just fire and flying.
Yes.
That's his type. This is his typing.
Okay. And that's another important thing because Pokemon are also split into different types, right?
Yeah.
And like it's funny because,
Not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the Planeteers.
Yes. My
Another
God.
90s reference.
amazing.
We're going to have to do another
Yes.
90s episode, I'll have you know.
Well,
Oh man, I love all the '90s stuff, dude.
Dude, we need to do
It's-
like
it's
the
an-
Star Wars podcast version of We Love the 90s, but just talk about the 90s.
Yeah.
dude, might as well.
I mean, the Jurassic Park, like when you were talking about the ratings and stuff like that, and like that earlier, Jerry. I mean, I could totally relate. Like,
Oh, dude.
I'm sure you can relate too because you have a little one, and
Yeah.
it's like, would you really want your 3-year-old or your 4-year-old watching the dinosaur part where the T-Rex just grabs this dude off the toilet, and it's like, you think about it and you're like, man, like, yeah, that's really cool. Like, and now that I'm older and now I've seen it, and it's like, I just don't know if I'm ready for a 3 or 4-year-old.
Not a 3 or 4-year-old. Now, when they turn 6, it depends on the child, right? Like it depends on how much of a psychopath they are, like me. And
definitely.
that's the thing. It's like my better half would have something to say about that, but I would probably be like, yeah, shoot, let's watch it.
Exactly. Yes. I remember so many times in the 90s where my grandpa would put on like a movie, and we watched horror movies all the time.
Oh my god!
Oh, see, I was scared to death of horror movies until I was like 13.
Oh wow! Yeah, I remember my papa put on The Exorcist for me whenever I was probably like 8 or 9 years old.
Dude, my papa season was pretty hardcore because he was about reactions, a lot like we both are.
Right.
Like, he wanted to watch us react to it, and like I think I've told you this, Jerry. When I was 6, my dad put on Aliens, and like one of the biggest memory I had of Aliens was when the Queen Xenomorph rips apart the android, and that yellow shit goes. Oh, pardon my French. That yellow stuff launches everywhere, right? Like I had nightmares of that for the longest time, but that's just our family, I guess. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, and I still remember my mom telling
Troy,
us that story about like whenever I came in, like she came in to pick me up, and she's like, yeah, and Papa and Troy were sitting there on the couch and they're watching The Exorcist, and they're eating popcorn, and I'm over here like, oh my gosh, like it's my 8-year-old son or 9-year-old son, like whatever. Just like watching this, and but I never had nightmares. I was all into the horror stuff as a kid, so I never had any kind of nightmares or anything like that. I thought it was cool.
I'm like,
this is crazy. Like,
so awesome.
I'm like into horror now, but like seriously, what? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay,
You're good.
give me a clap to come back in.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing this again? Are you doing this freaking thing again you did last year?
No. Troy just ripped a giant fart in the bathroom, and I hope I have it on the.
Oh my gosh!
It was like a comical fart. It was like
I did not hear. It is not out of the realm of this program. Definitely not. In fact, that was a lot of the talk on our Patreon call the other night. Like, we're the show that does fart noises. And yeah, welcome. So
78 mile an hour winds.
I'm not really sure what's going on now.
Apparently the wind's blowing.
yeah, hold on real quick, Jerry. The wind is like there's like a tornado. Or
Oh my gosh.
It's like hissing.
It's funny because we could do some crazy Foley and stuff, like whoosh, like anti-M, a twister. Oh, that was actually, I'm not gonna lie, I thought you guys were like blowing in the, okay, if you die on the air, we're still airing this, okay?
I'm cutting in now. All right, boys and girls, that was a great discussion. Unfortunately, we had to get cut short real quick due to some torrential wind and weather, and floats were flying off our balcony. It was a mess. Troy, where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at ElderPug27, on Twitch at ElderPug27, Instagram, same, ElderPug, all that good stuff. YouTube, ElderPug27.
Be sure to go check it out, y'all. It's some of my favorite videos on the
Yes.
internet. Just Troy being real genuine. I'm going to do an edit one day where Troy's reacting to, like, I'm going to do it to where it's like him reacting to everything happening. It's just, I love it.
You should do a video with that, like, the famous reaction that people always take, like Matthew McConaughey from Interstellar, and have him reacting to one of Troy's videos.
That would
be
great.
epic.
Dude, that's what it's going to be. It'll be Troy. It'll be Matthew McConaughey crying to Troy reacting.
Yeah.
Dude, that's it.
Yeah,
That's
You're
it.
welcome.
I love it.
You're
But
welcome.
anyway, Troy, would you like to do the honors of?
But
of
2020
the
strikes
great
again,
tradition?
guys. My gosh. Ooh,
Yes.
Stay safe.
All right. Yes, everybody out there, stay safe, and of course, stay bombad.
future or Bombad.